Hi, welcome to part 2 of baking a cake. If you were here for part 1, you saw us make 3 of these. I just scared the crap out of the camera person by almost making it look like I was going to drop that cake. I have 3 of those today. We're going to build a buttercream, we're going to build a whipped cream, and then we're going to do some decorating. We're going to decorate the cake. We're also going to make parfaits. And as everyone who's seen Shrek knows, everybody loves parfaits. They have layers, and they're delicious. To start with the buttercream, we need a god-awful amount of powdered sugar. This is 4.5 cups of powdered sugar. To that, I am going to add 3 sticks of softened butter. That is 1.5 cups of softened butter. If you're paying attention to part 1, this is the same amount of butter that's in those 3 cakes.
And it's room temp.
It is room temp because it's softened. If it was still cold, it wouldn't be soft. Also unsalted, because I don't think that my buttercream should be salty, and I love salt. I'm a salt addict, according to my wife. Whee! Making a mess already. Oh yeah, it is. Just throwing that stuff everywhere. That's worse than flour.
Mine, you want to stay in there?
Okay, so I need a rubber spatula to knock down some of that butter. Come on.
It's like a war crime. Look at it.
It's like a what?
It's like a war crime. Look at all of
A
this.
war crime? Really?
Yeah, because you're killing everything.
I'm not killing anything. It's already dead. This is the crap I get from my kids. It's a war crime because you're throwing powdered sugar everywhere. Ugh. You won't consider it a war crime when you can actually taste it and it's delicious and it's on the cake. You will change your tune, as will anybody who's watching who agrees with you. See?
They agree with me. They're the right type of person.
Yeah. But you can see it is now starting to come together. And this is when we speed things up. As you can see, it is starting to lighten a little bit, but it is most definitely taking on the consistency of icing. There's a reason that it is called buttercream, and that's because there is a ton of butter involved. Now we want to let this go for a little bit because we want it to really incorporate well with the sugar and get nice and smooth before we move on to our next step. But honestly, folks, buttercream by itself is really simple. I know it seems like it should be more complicated. It seems like it should be more difficult. This isn't. So at this point, I want to scrape down the sides and get this stuff that's sitting on top of the mixer, or the paddle attachment for the mixer, so that we get everybody incorporated and everybody comes to play the game. Okay, Josh, it's buttercream, and you've got butter, but where's the cream? That is an excellent question, and we will get there momentarily. Voices in my head. I promise. We have to make sure all of the butter is taken care of. Wow. I'm glad you found that funny, Harley. I really am. How the heck did that happen? Oh, just my luck. Just my luck. But that's how you know that this is really home cooking, because mistakes happen and dumb crap happens all of the time. Like this is trying to come off again. Why does this mixer hate me, Harley?
I don't know, but you missed it. The candle giraffe we have, it just like fell off the windowsill.
I don't know if you guys could hear that, but Harley pronounces windowsill like windowsill. And that I find to be just frustrating, because there is such a thing as a windowsill, and that is different from a windowsill.
My bad.
You're right, it is. Okay. That looks perfect for right now. This, as far as icing goes, would not be good to spread. So, now it's time for the heavy cream. How much heavy cream? I don't know. A couple tablespoons, but it's going to depend on you and your conditions. I always eyeball it. So I'm going to put in that much. Plus, because we're here and adding liquids, a little bit of vanilla. About a teaspoon and a half of vanilla. And we're going to mix. We're mixing. We want to see it get to a consistency that we can actually spread it easily onto a cake, but also a consistency that is not going to easily break down. What is going to make that slightly difficult for us is we want to add one more element of flavor, and that is cocoa powder, which I am going to measure. 1, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. That is going to help offset some of that excess sugar and make it a little less sweet. And actually, before I start mixing again, we're going to scrape down the sides of the bowl on top of the cocoa, hopefully to prevent as much splashback as we've gotten with the sugar, and prevent what Harley likes to refer to as a war crime.
Yeah. It is a war crime.
Okay. And then I'm going to add maybe another tablespoon of heavy cream to again offset some of the extra dry ingredient that was added. There it goes. It is definitely taking on the right color, or at least the color I expected it to be. Oh, you just want some? So, once again, I'll come back in here, knock that down, scrape around the sides.
Ooh, it smells really good.
Oh, I'm glad you like the smell of it. It smells like cocoa. I think it's still a little too thick. So a little bit more heavy cream just to thin it out a little bit. Because again, I have to spread this. And if it's too thick, it becomes impossible to spread. And it ends up destroying cakes. Personally, I'm not okay with destroying cakes. Okay. Now, what was that noise for, Har?
It was just all clumped up.
Uh-huh. But it's nice and smooth. And I think for our purposes, this is going to work. But I have an official taste tester in my house. So I have to make sure that my official taste tester tells me whether or not this is right. So
Mama!
Harley's going to stay looking at this while I take the spoon with the icing over to my wife to taste test it. We let her think about it because she's the only one in the house who will tell me something other than, oh, it tastes good.
Maybe a touch more cocoa.
More cocoa? She says more cocoa. Harley?
Not a ton, but...
A touch more cocoa. Which means since I threw the spoon that was used for the cocoa into the sink, I have to get a different spoon. So we had 2 tablespoons. We'll call this a 1/3 tablespoon. And as I said before, we're going to add a little bit of heavy cream, not much, not even a teaspoon, just to try to balance out some of that excess dry ingredient, because it will change the way that the icing moves. But I fully recommend anybody who wants to do any kind of baking, get yourself an official taste tester who is not afraid to tell you when what you have made is terrible. Or,
She didn't say it was terrible.
I know she didn't say it was terrible, but she would have. If it was, she actually would have told me. Nobody else would have. And the reason I'm using cocoa powder is because I honestly want this icing to taste like cocoa. I don't want it to taste like chocolate. So that is why we're going with cocoa powder, as opposed to just melting some chocolate and putting it in. Okay. I think we have achieved what we came to do today with the icing. Okay, so I'm going to get a bowl out to put this in separately because I'm going to need this mixing bowl again for making whipped cream in a little bit. When we come back, we're going to take apart the cake and start the crumb coat. Welcome back. So I've washed stuff, and now we need to talk about making the cake and putting, well, we've made the cake, we got to put it together. If you are the type of person who makes them in a rectangular baking dish and you just have a 1-layer thing, this part is not for you. For those of us who are trying to make round cakes, the first thing we need to do is try to level the cake, which not exactly going to be simple. I am just trying ever so gently to take the hump out of this cake. And saving these cast-off parts because they're still delicious. Gotta get rid of that hump. Yeah, gotta get rid of the hump. Want to say that again for the audience? That's what I thought. Okay. It ain't perfect. But again, it doesn't have to be. So this one comes over here for the moment. I'm going to take this bad boy and we're going to dehumpify it. And that random word that I made up got my wife in the other room to snort, even though she says she never listens to these. She snorted. All right. Well, I am not a great decorator of cakes. That's not something that ever worked in my favor, but we're going to give it a go. And we're going to start by putting a layer of icing in here. If you ever have to do this, an offset spatula like the one I have in my hand will make your life simpler. You start in the middle, you work your way to the edge. Just like that.
I love how you made your own stand.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have a Lazy Susan or something else that would allow me to easily get to this. So I'm using the container that we usually keep our flour in.
Side.
That's okay. Now, so that I have a flat top, I'm inverting this so that it looks pretty much like a whoopie pie.
Which is also really good.
I had a feeling you might like those. All right. Like I said, just start in the middle, work your way out to the edge. Some of you may be remembering, Josh, you have 3 cakes. What about the other one?
That one's for me.
And that one is going to be for our parfaits. As I said, everybody loves parfaits. So we're going to make those and we're going to cut up the cake that we have remaining in order to make parfaits. Again, crumb coat does not need to be perfect. We're going to come back after this gets a chance to set a little bit and add more icing and perhaps see if I can manage to make a piping bag work. Maybe I can pipe something onto here to make it look at least a little bit fancy, because kid didn't want a store cake, which would have been fancy that I didn't have to do myself.
Okay, but these taste better.
Yes, I know these taste better. I do know these taste better. But I have to give you difficulty.
Because I'm difficult.
Because you're difficult, yes. You are incredibly, incredibly difficult at times. Not all the time. Just some of the time. I am leaving this on the cutting board to make service later easier. All right. Okay. It's far from perfect, but do not let perfection be the enemy of good. And this is all kinds of good. In fact, I'm going to take some of this cast off piece in my hand with a spoon, small amount of icing. Yes, Harley, I'm going to give it to you.
Yes! Thank you.
And you can tell me what you think.
It's got the right amount of cocoa. I like that. And it tastes very nice.
How's the cake?
It's very good. It's not. It's like the perfect between, not too moist. I hate that word. Not
right.
too dry.
So I'm going to take this over to the fridge to give it a few minutes for the icing, which again is largely butter, to set a little bit. And then when we come back, I'm going to take apart that cake and start building the parfait. And we'll finish off with making some whipped cream. Okay, so whipped cream from scratch. I have a 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream in the mixing bowl. I am going to add 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Now this is a half tablespoon, so it's 6 of these. 2, 3. Come on. 4, 5, 6. Yay! 6 tablespoons of powdered sugar, because everything today has to have lots of sugar.
Yes.
Then, because we don't want it to fall apart, we're going to add a pinch of cream of tartar. Cream of tartar is important because it helps to prevent the air that you whip into it from falling out. And a splash of vanilla. And then we're going to start slowly with our beating attachment, our beater attachment, beater, to get the sugar mixed in. And then, now see, this stuff just does not want to cooperate today. It's tired. It's tired of all of the stuff I've done to this poor mixing bowl so far. It's just over it. All right. Now, we give it the spurs, and we are going to beat that to stiff peaks. What I want to do next, because we are making the parfaits right now, is I'm taking this lovely mason jar that I got from the Crazy Mason in Pittsburgh. Wonderful milkshakes. I suggest trying them. I'm going to put some of our buttercream into the bottom of the mason jar. Is this pretty? No.
It's okay, it's gonna be good.
I know. I know you don't care, Harley. And then we're going to make some chunks of this remaining cake. I'm just going to drop those into the mason jar, like so. And then it's important to add more of the buttercream before we go with our next step. Because we want the buttercream to form kind of a barrier so that the cake doesn't get soaked by what is about to happen to it. Because dear Harley has asked for cherries. So I have a can of cherry pie filling, which is the closest thing that I could find to what she had asked for. We are going to add that as our next layer into our mason jar. Just like that. Go. Oop. I'm not trying to make butter. Okay. So. That is some top-notch whipped cream right there. And it's excellent timing because on top of the cherries, I'm going to add some whipped cream. Like that. Just like that. Then we're going to come back here and get more cake. To make another layer of cake in our mason jar. Do. Like so. Come in with one last little bit of our buttercream. Again, to try to form that little bit of a barrier before we bring in some more cherries. And finish
With more whipped cream.
With our whipped cream right on top, just like that. And if you want to be really fancy, if you want to be really, really, really fancy, a single cherry. Just like that. I know it looks messy, but I have to hold it because I'm afraid that the child is going to try to eat it now. Okay, parfaits have been made. One has been partially consumed, and this has had a chance to chill for a bit. So we're going to try to see if Josh can actually decorate something. So, getting the rest of our icing across the top. Use your offset spatula to push the excess to the edge where you can then manipulate it. There we go. Okay, as stated, this is not pretty, but doing the best we can as home cooks. And I promise you, if you make this, kids aren't going to care what it looks like in cake form. They are certainly going to care what it tastes like. And this tastes amazing. So we're now going to try to see if Josh can actually use a piping bag. To go around the bottom of our cake.
I like it. It's got character.
Oh, you're breaking my heart, kid. It's got character. Character. Is that what you're? Jeez. That's like you're calling it fugly without calling it fugly. YouTube, do you hear this nonsense from the child? It's got character.
I like it a little off center. It's got lobbies.
Oh my lord. All right, ladies and gents. That is how I at least try to decorate a cake. Is it great? Not really. But it is mine.
And that's what matters.
We'll see you back here hopefully next week. If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe. I try to do something like this every week. Try to make sure that I have something to present. Some random thing that I'm doing for the family. Hopefully we can go to something that I actually know what I'm doing on. Decorating a cake ain't my thing, but I'll talk to you guys later.